Razabani for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm delighted to have on Zoom with me today Rotherham's finest, Mr. Kash Ali. Kash, how are we doing?
All good, thank you. Good. Just
yeah.
Good doing myself.
Good to hear. Kash, obviously we spoke probably, I think 2 weeks ago, nearly about just under 2 weeks ago, in preparation for your fight. We spoke a lot in that particular interview. Obviously we spoke before your fight, but obviously since your fight, we haven't really caught up. Got the win, which is always the most important thing, but are you starting to see improvements in your game now? Obviously, that relationship with Richard, are you starting to see yourself change of mode, mold yourself into the heavyweight that you want to be?
Yes, definitely, bro. Yeah, we got the win, and I went 7 rounds with him as well, so that was good. The longest I've been. So we picked some valuable rounds up and got getting that momentum. Like I said, everyone sees him knocking everyone out 3 rounds, 2 rounds, and then sometimes you need them rounds. So I banked the rounds and some experience on my side. So yeah, enjoyed it. It was a positive.
I'm sure you've probably gone back and maybe watched the fight, and certainly Richard probably would have. Did he give you much feedback?
Yeah, for me, like I said, the kid was an experienced kid. He had in his professional, he knocked them all out, and he had 300 amateur fights. He was an international German amateur, so he knew his way around the ring. Like I said, sometimes you fight kids who are probably more game coming forward and stronger. But this kid, he probably wasn't strong as the one when I won the title, but he knew his way he knew his way around the ring. And sometimes when they're not engaging, it becomes a bit difficult. But like I said, I picked some valuable experience up, so that's it. So I'm pleased with that, and we'll take it to the next one.
Obviously, moving to 20 fights now, 2 fights this year. What's kind of, you're not getting any younger, right? Let's be honest, not going to get any younger. But kind of, what's another fight end of the year, or are you looking at bringing out now next year?
No, I'll be fighting again, defending my title again in December. So just keeping active, keeping busy, and getting good opposition level fights. And then next year we want to be breaking through in the top 15 with the IBF and 10. And so anyway, there's big fights anyway in Britain, in the rankings anywhere. So like I said, just doing what I'm doing, improving, getting better and better each fight. I'm picking the experience up. Like I said, I've heard people talk about they've had 30, 40 amateur fights, and they still say the novices, they've still not had that many. But like I said, I had 2 amateur fights when I was young. So I'm learning, like I said, even though we're not getting any younger, but I'm fresher on that side as well. So I can fight longer because I've not had that early amateur pedigree where it probably takes out most people.
Kash, we spoke a couple of days, was it a week or so before the Anthony Joshua Alexander Usyk fight, and something you said to me was that you think Usyk will beat Joshua, and I think I titled the video something along those lines as well, that you said that you felt like Anthony Joshua, you said, and I quote here, I think Usyk can beat Joshua. Let's go into that fight and break it down a little bit. We know what skill sets Usyk has. He's an unbelievable boxer. He's proven that at cruiserweight, became the undefeated champion, moved up to heavyweight. We knew what we were going to expect from him in this particular fight. With Anthony Joshua, there was all these rumors going around. He's lost weight. He looks slimmer. Well, his weight was around the same as Pulev's, but obviously his tactics during the fight was to box the boxer. First question is, what did you make of those particular tactics?
All wrong. I'm not a boxing coach, but it's common sense. See, if you watch the second Ruiz fight, the Pulev fight, and his Usyk fight, yeah, people don't get it. He has been quite slim. He's been very. I don't know what his weight was, but I've heard his weight was around about the same, 240 or whatever. But when he fought the Ruiz the second time, he's got a guy coming forward, and he boxed the back foot. He out hustled him. He out bigged him, bigger than him. But Pulev fight, whatever, Pulev's probably a bit of a boxer, but I think Joshua physically too much for him. But when you're boxing like Usyk, who's in his prime, a serious boxer, good with his feet, good with his hands, you don't try to. You obviously at times you do try to outbox him, of course, but Joshua didn't. I don't know. All the way through, he was trying to just outbox him in there and just keep it. Which obviously, there were times where he was competitive. Obviously, he's the heavyweight. He was the former heavyweight champion, but he must have taught him. For me, I always said if Joshua was going to beat him, he'll have to do what he does, what I think he does best, and that's vicious and letting 2-3 combos go. Obviously, you can use your brain, set it with a jab, set it with the feints, and then just rip Usyk, rip his body, rip his head. Like we've seen Joshua before in the Klitschko fights. He's had probably the Povetkin fight, but we didn't see none of that. We didn't see the first phase of Joshua's career. That's what I think he lacked in this fight.
Were you surprised that during the course of the fight, a lot of people had Usyk winning kind of the first 3-4 rounds. Joshua came in round 5-6, and then kind of Usyk won 7, and then almost took over the fight. But were you hoping that the tactics will slightly change and there'll be a kind of a plan B to say, all right, we can't box him anymore. We're behind on the cards. Let's do something else. Were you surprised you didn't see a change?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, if he practiced that, okay, fair enough. He had something in his mind. He probably wanted to. If he did pull it off, he'll go down as one of the greats of his time right now. You know, that's what he probably thought in his head. He's knocked people out. He thought if he can outbox the boxer, then it was a big risk doing that. But it didn't work. But I was thinking there were times when he let a few body shots go, and I thought if he pressures, I thought Usyk won comfortably to be honest. I thought he won, and even though the few rounds where Joshua might have won, Usyk slowed the pace down. He was getting a breather, had his second one, and went again. But that's what top boxers do, you know. But with Joshua, I thought at some point he was going to pull the trigger and just risk it, you know. But if he's not practiced it in this camp, then it's probably difficult to do. You know, you've got to practice things for not weeks, months and months and months. And you can clearly see Joshua's been working on his slipping, a few slips, because he was slipping nicely, which he's never done before. And his footwork were pretty good. But I think his hands needed to be more busy to if he wanted to hurt or stop Usyk.
There's a number of interviews I've seen this week. I've conducted some myself as well, where ex-fighters and other pros were saying there was too much talking going on in that particular corner. You kind of didn't know who was giving the instructions. They were applauding him for things that they really shouldn't have been applauding him for when he was losing the fight. What do you make of all of that?
Yeah, something knows that you can't having 3-4 cornermen. You know, it gets a bit messy in the corner, so you don't know who to listen to. But he's been with Robert McCracken for years and he's been successful with it. So he probably needs to stick with him a bit more. Not saying other guys are no good for him, but sometimes things get confusing. But I like to see if he has a rematch, I like to see him go back and just be more vicious and forget boxing him basically. Just, that's his game, you know. Okay, there's always going to be a chance Usyk might counter and hurt him, but you've tried boxing him. So you've got to try something else, you know, use your size, use your strength, use your reach, and just basically bully him. As easy said than done, but that's what he's going to do. It's clearly his tactics didn't work, so he needs to do the next one, which he's got opportunity to do.
A lot of people saw Usyk in his first 2 fights in heavyweight against Weatherspoon and obviously Chisora weren't the most impressive, but do you feel like people were judging him based on those 2 performances?
Yeah, you know what it is though? With the first fight with the spoon, that was probably, the guy wasn't on his level, and he just boxed him. But with Chisora, it's a different style. Chisora jumped on him, he made it physical for him. So if Usyk fought Chisora again, similar thing will happen. Chisora will mold him, he'll rip body shots in, headshots. So it's always going to be difficult with someone like Chisora against him. His style make fights, but you know Usyk, but for what he does it brilliant. You know, uses in and out, uses his boxing, and like I said, he's not the biggest man, but you don't need to be when you got the good brains and boxing. You can beat the big man.
How much of a problem is Usyk going to be in the heavyweight division?
Well, he's heavyweight champion of the world now, so you know he's proven it. He belongs up there. So he's proven it that size don't matter. He's proven that people always say, "Oh, he's too small." Of course, they'll come unstuck one day. They'll when I watch fighters, every time I watch a fighter, you exploit his weaknesses, and you think he's definitely got weaknesses. But at the minute, you know, he's won 3 belts and he's the heavyweight champion of the world. Hats off to him. I respect him.
Obviously, I'm not sure if you saw Anthony Joshua's Instagram post today, which he put a couple of hours ago, and he said, "I've watched the fight, analyzed my preparations, and identified my mistakes. I've learnt my lessons. Thanks for sending love and checking in. Don't worry about me. My spirit is strong." What does Anthony Joshua need to change in order to beat Usyk in the rematch. Now, Usyk was asked the question after his win, um, do you expect a tougher Anthony Joshua in the rematch? And he said, you're going to see a tougher Usyk because he believes he hasn't fully grown, obviously, into the heavyweight division, and he's got a lot more to learn and a lot more to give.
Yeah, exactly. That's like I said, it's only Usyk's third fight. He's been cruiserweight. He's always kept his weight down. So now next fight, he'll be a bit more stronger. He'll be a bit more comfortable at that weight. So, either way, Joshua's got his hands full. But for him to reclaim his titles, if I was to coach him or train him, I think he has to just forget this boxing stuff. Don't get me wrong, it's good to watch Muhammad Ali and take bits from him, but if you're not a natural mover and you struggle with it, just do what you do. Just do what you do, and that's what I think Joshua is good at. He's good at vicious combinations. He's good at setting people up with his jab and surprising them with them combos. What he's got, and that's what I think he should do. Just take it to Usyk basically. Just take it to him. I don't even think it's that much of a change because he's done it all his career pretty much. So it's only recently he's gone on the back foot and he's out. But that's something he's got in his game as well, boxing. But this fight, he needs to just take it to him, I think.
Kash, do the fans lose out overall? Because 2 years ago, we had an undefeated American in Deontay Wilder with the WBC belt, undefeated UK fighter Anthony Joshua, a huge fight potentially for the undisputed titles. Politics get involved, promoters get involved, managers get involved, fight doesn't take place. Then Anthony Joshua goes on and loses to Ruiz. Down the line, Deontay Wilder draws Fury with Fury, then loses to Fury. Joshua wins his belts back. Now we're talking about Joshua Fury for the undisputed title. All of a sudden, this arbitration gets involved. Now Joshua loses. We've seen things happen with Khan Brook, obviously from your neck of the woods, Kell Brook. Are we getting deprived of seeing these big fights because there's too many people on the outside that too worried about how much money the fight's gonna generate?
Yeah, that like so, it's one of them ones. It's always promoters and money always gets involved. But if two fighters really want to fight, I believe they can fight. Obviously, if you're not in contracts and stuff. But if two fighters really want to fight, I think they can get it done. But at the same time, like I say, it's the politics, it's the channels, who what channel does it come on? There's a lot of and it's all ego, innit? It's all ego. We want it on this A side, B side. But to be honest, we're getting a good fight. Like I said, Deontay and Fury, they're having good fights. Okay, it's third one now. Obviously, even though I know people wanted to see the Fury and Usyk, but they're all top fights, so they're all in the top five. So they are kind of they are one way or another. They are competing with one another. So it's good. We're still entertaining fights, aren't they?
Obviously, you just mentioned there, obviously Fury Wilder get it on in just over a week's time.
What it is.
The fight that Deontay Wilder has been waiting for. Obviously, he hasn't fought for 18 months, nor has Tyson Fury.
Was that both fights? The one they beat? The last was that the last fights where they fought each other?
That's right. Yeah, just before COVID, February, wasn't it?
Well, I thought didn't Fury fight after that?
No.
Oh, interesting, man.
So they've both been out of the ring, obviously, a long time. Deontay's teamed up with someone you know well, Malik Scott. How much of a chance do you give Deontay? Well, we know he's always got that puncher's chance, but Fury did beat him convincingly in the second fight, and in a lot of people's eyes, beat him in the first fight.
Yeah, the first fight, like I said, I thought Fury outboxed him, but with the two knockdowns, it's understandable. It was a draw in Medica. He fighting the champion. The second fight, there was a clear one winner, and Fury in the second fight, he just took it to him. He must have seen something in the first fight. He's changed his tactics, and he went in there and just bullied Deontay Wilder with his size and just put it on him, and you've seen the result. Now, I think with Wilder, he's got Malik in his corner, and I think they're not gonna. As before, he was looking for the right hand straight away, and clearly it didn't work because Fury took it away from him and knocked him out, stopped him. But now, I like to think so. They're going to be working on things, try to set things up more. I think. I don't think it's going to be guns out blazing straight away, but Deontay's probably going to have to set things up with Tyson, jabs, feints, whatever, and try setting that right hand up. But I'm sure Tyson's boxed him twice. He knows he's going to have to take the right hand away and just do what he did before, to be honest. He was successful with it. Tyson knows what he did. So
Cash,
it's,
who do you think wins?
you have to favor. I favor Tyson. One thing with Deontay, you can't write him off because of his power, and he's sharp with it, and he can land anytime, and he's very fast with it. You've seen he knocked the OTs out. He's had some big knockouts, so we can't write that off. But you have to favor Tyson. You know, people probably thought Tyson when he was the first one. He's had 2 years out. He's not this. He's that, and he come back down. He come up from the knockdowns. The second fight, he went and stopped him. So you know, you have to favor Tyson. His confidence would be sky high. Deontay now it looks like he's more focused, and you know you see him on the internet and stuff, and he's got Malik in, which he'll help him with his certain boxing what he probably feels like he never did in the first and second fight. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Okay, Kash Ali, IFL TV. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Thank you, brother.